Welcome everybody to another episode of Rufus and Craig. I am your wonderful host Craig, and Rufus is on the line. How you doing, Rufus?
Hey Craig, how are you?
You know what? It feels good to be home. This has been, I only worked 2 days this week, and it has just been very eventful. Definitely today. So I had to get somebody right on the way out the door, literally out the door. I had to reverse correct in the parking lot, go back into my office, kind of take command over one of my team members' computer to really just, but I talked about bomb bitches before, so it's still the same bomb bitch. But nonetheless, the week is over. It's behind me. Um, I'm waiting on some great things to come. I'm believing and trusting that it's going to happen. So I'll be singing a brand new tune, literally and figuratively, in the weeks to come and in the years to come. So catch us up on your week.
My week has been just a regular week, nothing exciting per usual, just normal day-to-day stuff. It's over and today starts a new week for me. So, you know, here we are.
Well, good luck to you. So one thing I wanted to talk about, even though I just told everybody the week is behind us, I'm still breathing. Some motherfuckers that work on these jobs with us, they need to just go home. And it takes me back to this moment. If you all remember the George Floyd riots that took place in the summer of 2020, and in particular, the world kind of stopped and looked at Atlanta, oddly enough, outside of, that was in Minneapolis. And I remember the then mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, who's a FAMU graduate. Shout out to all HBCUs. It is Black
And running
History
for
Month.
governor.
She's currently running for governor, and she was the then mayor of Atlanta. And she also went on to do work with the Biden administration. Shortly after that, she did not pursue a second run with that. But I wanted to just, because I literally said all day, it was me saying, these people need to go home. They've got to go home. They can't do, this place deserves better than this. So let's just hear from Keisha herself.
We are better than this. We're better than this as a city. We are better than this as a country. Go home. Go home. In the same way I couldn't protect my son on yesterday, I cannot protect you out in those streets. We are better.
So that was me.
Why was that you today?
Because motherfuckers need to go home. Anytime you are just kind of commandeering the space, holding up a position, if you don't want to be there, go home. And one thing I said, a bitch working from home can't tell me a motherfucking thing. If I'm in this motherfucker, working my fingers down to the bone, not literally, but figuratively, but you at home, you ain't calling no shots. You not even here. You ain't making the right connections, not drawing the right conclusions. You're not thinking critically. Get the fuck up out of here. Just retire. And it's one thing, and I'm not an ageist, but one thing that I want to encourage you and I is definitely, once we get to that point of late 60s, early 70s, let the 40-year-olds have it. Let them have
I,
it.
I would say let the 20-year-olds have it because
Let
when I
them
get
have it.
70, I plan on being laid up on somebody's
Let
beach
them
in
have it.
some tropical country somewhere.
Let them have it. So that's as it relates to certain fields and career paths, that's really what I was speaking to when I say let them have it, because it's just you got to know when to fold them. So, and I know we always open up with weather, so we just gonna pivot from that because that was a whole storm within itself. LA is underwater.
Is
Typically,
it? I haven't heard this.
yes, I remember seeing a video where there was flooding in the Trader Joe's. There's flooding on the
Oh
streets in
wow.
LA. So, our listeners who are in LA, our hearts are with you. Find a high place, find a dry place, but get there fast. And thinking
Yeah,
of,
I didn't know that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you're fine.
I wasn't going to go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
you're cool. And speaking of weather, I live in the great city of Philadelphia. I looked out there. Matter of fact, it was some on Instagram. I'm one of those people. I get my news from Instagram, but I follow the right channels, right? The news networks, and it says there's about to be another fucking blizzard coming to the eastern coast
When does that start?
Sunday, ending Monday, and they're expecting a total of 8 to 12 inches
Like tomorrow, Sunday? Like today's Friday, so like
in
the
two
day after
days,
tomorrow? Oh,
24, 28 hours. I think it's
oh.
going to start at 1 p.m. on Sunday. So I'm like, we just now had a week of above, what is it, 30, freezing is 32 degrees?
Yes.
Okay, so it's been above 32, so that nasty snow has been melting, and now it's about to be more to be dumped. Are you kidding me? As Sheree Whitfield would say, she would say, "Are you kidding me?" You remember that?
Well, it is February, and February is still wintertime. So, and you do live in the Northeast, so it's part of the package deal that you get with living in the Northeast, I would say.
It's a
It's
hot
on
ass mess.
it is, but that's just what come with it.
It's a hot ass mess. So that means more people will be in the house potentially making babies. And speaking of the condom shortage, because you need to wrap it up if you're not prepared to have a
Wait.
child.
How do we go from making babies to a condom shortage? But go
There's
ahead.
a condom shortage in the Olympic Village. So they had anticipated they went through them. There are 3,000 participants, and they went through 10,000 condoms within 72
Oh, so they
hours.
over there fucking. I love
Yes. I
it.
know in our previous episode we talked about because I was like, wait, the Winter Olympics, like what's going on? We talked about the skiers and the ski suits. So yeah, I just wouldn't think about that, right? I did collegiate sports for just one semester
And
and
what
I
was your
quit
sport?
that. I was a cheerleader.
Okay.
And I just couldn't imagine. We know things happen when you travel with the team. Of course, because
Mhm.
those things happen in the hometown anyway. But who would imagine these, powerful, I'm calling them powerful, but very strong in their respective sports, these winter sports, disciplines, they just fucking up, are
I
fucking
mean,
down, right?
they over there fucking like rappers, and I'm here for it. Go ahead, go over there and have your. I'm sure they're all young people, so go over there and get your life, have a good time, But the condom shortage is that's kind of bad. I'm sure they're in Italy right this year, so I'm sure there's a store or a CVS or whatever they have in Italy where you can go pick up a box of 12 that you need. You know what I'm saying? Make it happen though. Get y'all life.
Yeah,
Bring us back some Olympic babies, if you
yeah,
will.
yeah, yeah. And speaking of sports, I just want to definitely stay in this lane. We talked about a lot of athletes last week, and we got another story. We're going to definitely talk about Sharon Jones from the University of Michigan. And it takes me back to remember we talked about how we were both in agreement about how the new athletes, when they come in, I made the suggestion that they definitely need a financial planner, but also some form of psychological or psychiatric help,
Correct.
that be mandated. But I failed to mention, I was seeing a lot of family members are attached to those checks. And given that it took me back, I remember, shout out to everybody that works in the call center. I did that while in grad school.
Okay, the calls and the girlies. Shout out to
Yeah,
y'all.
working at the call center. And I remember, I don't know if she was his agent, whoever she was, but it was for T.O., Terrell Owens. His position may have been a running back. Don't know what team he played for, but we all know T.O. If you see Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson, sometimes you see Terrell
Wait.
Owens.
You said okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So she called to pay, and I won't say the company's name. Well, I guess I could. It
I
doesn't matter. It
mean,
was a
why?
television provider. I'm so far removed from that. And that particular company, she called in and she was like, I'm Susie and I'm calling to pay Terrell Owens' bill. She had the password to the accounts. We paid. She was like, all right, you paid them. Let's go pay this one. We paid about $2,000 in bills at several residences that were, she was like, and she was like, well, this one his cousin stays in. This one, I guess his mom. This one is his. And so it just made me think, and I don't think he's been the most financially secure. I don't know if there's a history of bankruptcy, but there was something going on with him and his finances that kind of, got out into the media. But I just say this to say, how many people depend on those checks as it relates to these athletes? And I remember that story, and she was like, I could call him if you want to talk to him.
She said it like that.
Yeah, and I was like, bitch, I don't want to talk to him. I'm at work. We on this call. You running up my call time. They gonna judge me because they gonna be like, why are you still on the phone with this one customer? And I'm like, well, we really just paying bills. And number one, the line that I work for was it was called the customer retention group, which you're really trained on everything because if you say you wanted to cancel um, the service, we have to be able to provide solutions for everything. So we're trained on sales, we're trained on technical, we're trained on hell, I can't even billing, like everything. You're supposed to be able to do everything if you're in that seat. But
hmm
I guess the queue could have been low, and that's how her ass ended up on my phone, paying To's bills. To, I hope you are not paying all of those. I mean, they were. It was people in Louisiana. Was it some people in Arkansas? They were everywhere. Those people were everywhere, and he was just
Well,
paying me.
a lot of athletes and people who have dollars, money, big bank accounts,
Hmm.
they support. large families and friend support groups because,
Mm,
you know, they want to make sure that their family's good. And I get it, but to a degree, you have to kind of like say no. And I kind of deal with a little bit of this myself. So yeah, and sometimes you can't pay her. I can't take everybody with me. Like if I'm going to work and everybody ain't going to work, then that's a problem for me. So but sometimes family expect you to do that stuff when you make a decent amount of money, but it's not realistic. So I hope he's not
correct,
paying those people bills anymore either. For the most part.
correct. And so we'll just ease on into Brother Sharon Moore. I know a lot of people, he has a white wife. This is the guy that had a very personal relationship, an extramarital affair with another white woman that was, I don't know if she was a grad student, but she worked for the football team
Well,
and she was his executive assistant. And
can I interject? For us who don't know who he is or may not know who he is, can you kind of give us a little bit of a synopsis of who he is and what he does?
that's literally what I was doing. So
Okay.
were you not listening?
I heard you, but you didn't. You were just talking about his affairs and stuff. You didn't.
I
Okay,
was
let's go ahead.
getting,
I got you.
he was the head coach, and I don't know if he was the first black head coach for the University of Michigan. I don't know. But nonetheless, he's out of that contract. And so I wanted to just listen to one of our, you heard in the background, we're just going to have her to talk. I think she said, I'm not a lawyer, but so this chick, she covers things on Instagram. So shout her out. We're just going to listen to her tell us a story.
Of Michigan head football coach who was all in the news in December of 2025 after he'd lost his job and caught a criminal case stemming from a workplace relationship he was having with his assistant. Well, he just got some good news regarding his criminal case. And I'm not a lawyer, but I watched the hearing, so let me give you the recap on the interesting argument his attorney made and why the judge agreed with her. For context, in case you need it, this is Sharon Moore, this is his wife, and this was his executive assistant and his mistress. According to reports, the University of Michigan had previously investigated if Sharon and his assistant, Paige Shiver, were having a relationship, but both of them denied it at the time. And then on Monday, December 8th, Paige allegedly broke up with Sharon, and then she and her civil attorney, a woman named Heidi Sharp, went to the school's head attorney to admit this relationship. 2 days later, Sharon was fired for violating university policy by engaging in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. And after he was fired, he then went to Paige's apartment and allegedly entered it illegally and threatened to harm himself. While Sharon is there, Paige calls her attorney, Heidi Sharp, and then Heidi calls the police. And this is where some of the problems start.
When Mr. Moore came to the complainant's apartment, the first person that the complainant called was Heidi Sharp. Heidi Sharp then calls 911 and says a series of statements that are in my motion that she did not have personal information of and had no basis for and are untrue. Mr. Moore had a long history of domestic violence.
And so I'm going to stop it right there. I'm not going to keep going with that. So pretty much what has happened is, I don't know, you might not have seen them. I should have shared the clip with you, but there's this judge that went viral, and I think it was for, I know it's a black judge that's over the case. Let's just say that, right? And the issue is that due process did not happen. So before the warrant was issued for the arrest, they went before a magistrate, right, who made a decision based upon a series of text messages, but they did not disclose to the magistrate that she was also his employee. And so what the now judge, I guess presiding judge over the case, is saying is that because that was not properly disclosed, maybe a magistrate would not have issued a warrant because I forgot the rule, but let's just say he was saying, you're saying this is stalking, that this is harassment, but no, you were really his employee. And so the context is what he was pretty much saying. And he said something about, I guess, due process did not happen. So therefore, he was like, any of this could be true. It cannot be true. And I think they're led to believe that some of the text messages that were turned over, contextually, something was missing. And so nonetheless, the brother might get off. I wasn't rooting for his ass to go to jail. Whatever happened, something happened. She called the police. It doesn't matter. You're more familiar with the legal system than I am. I'm just, scrolling like everyone else on Instagram and seeing those things. So, do you mind sharing with us your thoughts?
I, it's probably right that the case got thrown out because just based off of what you said, it, I don't think there was enough. They didn't prove anything. Like nothing. It don't sound like nothing really happened to me. So that's pretty much my addition. Like I think I don't have. I think it's right that they threw the case out or whatever happened.
Or it's about to. And so
Yeah, yeah.
that's you heard the attorney say it at the end, she just makes this call to 911. She's saying all of these things. You know, you could say it was a setup, whatever it was, the shit something happened, right? And his
Mhm.
ass ain't got the job. So it might be a morality clause that could have been in his
And
contract
that
that he
probably is like criminal matters and employment matters are two different things. So his employer can terminate you for whatever reason, but on the criminal side, like maybe it shouldn't be a criminal charge. But
Yeah,
an employer can get rid of you for whatever reason they feel like it in most states.
yeah. Yeah. Well, good luck to you. I know we'll have an update next week. It seems like we do kind of lean into sports, and I like
At
it
least
from this
the
perspective.
last two episodes, because with me in sports, I'll be over here like, huh?
But guess what? I don't think I've been on TMZ Sports as much as I was in the previous weeks and days or whatever.
Hmm.
So I did give our listeners a break from that. But no, on to different things that I know you. I don't for our Real Housewives of Potomac fans. Of course, we know that Karen did make an appearance. Karen is her alias has been the Grand Dame. She's the most senior person on the show. I think she's in her early 60s. She's married to the Black Bill Gates.
The
Raymond,
Black Bill Gates. I've not heard that. Okay.
yeah, Raymond Huger. And so she did go, she was arrested for her fourth DUI, DWI, not sure of the difference. Um, but she was arrested the fourth time and she served 6 months of her 1 year sentence. And she's been released. And so she was on Sherry Shepherd. And a lot of you people are just not happy that you believe that Karen is not accepting accountability. And
Very
Rufus is
true.
speechless.
Yeah, I don't watch the show, so I don't really have much to add. The only thing I can add is the difference between DWI and DDUI, but I won't do that because it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't. She went to jail. She served her time. I mean,
correct.
that's the
Yep,
accountability on from my perspective. That is accountability. You went to
yep,
jail. You did your time. Now, as
yep.
long as you stay not getting more DWIs or
Right,
DUIs, whichever
right.
one it is,
Yeah,
then fine.
yeah.
Like I think the jail sentence is the accountability.
Right, right, right.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's too simple for some people to think about, but that's how my simple brain thinks about it.
they are pissed. And I just think we don't live in reality.
We don't, and I think a lot of times too, especially in today's society, especially with social media, we live in a world where we think everything is supposed to be, like everything is supposed to be rainbows and sunshines all the time, and that's not the case. Like some shit is gonna be ugly, some shit is gonna be
Right,
nasty, and we
right,
just have to learn how to deal with it and stop trying to.
right,
We can. I don't want to say we can expect the greatest all the time, but you have to be prepared for those instances in life that are not going to be what you think they are. Like make a plan B. Just because something doesn't pan out the way you want it to doesn't mean that you have to give up or whatever. Like plan for contingencies. Everything's not going to be perfect all the time. That's just the world we live in. And as soon as everybody realizes that, the better off we'll be.
I think they is just mad because her ass is back on that show. But thank you for
Could
those
be that
thoughts.
too. But maybe she's good TV. I said I was going to start watching the
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
I just haven't yet.
yeah. So shout out to Thomas Jefferson's concubine, as she claimed while she
Wait,
was drunk in arrest. She
what?
said that. Yeah, she was like, "I'm Thomas Jefferson's
Why did she say
concubine."
that?
I think she said she didn't know what she said that night, but that was what TMZ had pulled from the what is it cops have or police officers have the
The body cam footage?
that's what that was. Yes.
Okay.
And that's what it recorded her saying, I am Thomas Jefferson's concubine. So shout out to Karen.
Well, yeah.
Happy to see you back standing up. That's somebody's mama. She's the mother of two. And whatever. Here we are.
Mm,
So
the
speaking of
grand
that,
dame.
Karen and her job, we always talk about the economy, and I always say, you know, times are hard when people you ain't even heard from in the music world are returning to music.
Who
Did
we
you
got
know?
this week?
Did you know Donell Jones had a new song?
Hell no, I ain't heard no Donell Jones song since Where I Wanna Be. I ain't heard nothing from Donell Jones since. I'm sure he had something after that, but that was in like 1999, 98 probably. But I ain't heard nothing from that man since then. That was
And I
30 years ago.
That's right. And in between time, the only thing we knew about him was that his mama was whacking the fuck out of Contessa,
And
Contessa Metcalf on Married to Medicine. She was
and
their
I didn't even
nanny.
know that. Okay. Oh
Yes,
wow.
yes.
Okay.
So she been on that show, and that she was there maybe just 2 seasons with Contessa, but she was tearing. I think she threw a wooden spoon at Contessa. She was their nanny. Yeah, it was violent up in there. She was giving Contessa hell. So shout out to the ladies of Married to Medicine. If you're listening, we appreciate you. Dr. Heavenly follows me on Instagram. I follow her back, and we've been doing that since 2020. So shout
God.
out to her, the
Humble
dentist.
brag. Have you listened to this new Donell Jones song? Do you like it?
You know what? It's so familiar. It's in alignment with all of his other music. So similar to when we talked about Tip, when we talked about Juvenile in previous weeks, it's so familiar. You'll fall right back to it, and that's what we need to hear. That's what we should expect from
Uh,
our past favorites. I wouldn't want them to come out and try to match this Instagram AI
no,
type
because it
music.
doesn't fit him.
No, we shouldn't want that. So it's very familiar, very comfortable, and I think So shout out to him. Now he can go tour and make some more money. And similar to that, along with that, Jamie Foxx has a new song. Did you know that?
I didn't know that either. I
Jamie
guess
has a single.
you're our music editor. I guess you bringing me all this new news. I appreciate it.
Jamie Foxx has a new single called Somebody, and so it has a very familiar sound as well. So it's good for them, and I'm sure they can go get quick cash because it's nothing to go pop up at a club and get a bag of 20, 30, 40,000. Again, this is the economy.
I don't
You
think Jamie
know,
Foxx is hurting for no money.
I
But
don't
anyway,
I
do you
don't think
like?
it's not about hurting for money. If I have this many expenses, if the expenses go up and I'm not working, you know, I don't want to go through whatever. I'm not saying savings, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm sure to your point, we know Jamie. Well, we would believe, because he's still been acting, I think. But nonetheless, if I can go write a song and go come up in a month, an extra 100,000, and if that covers, just by doing 4 appearances, boom, or
Okay,
two, you never know.
got it. How do
Two
you feel
nights of
about the
work.
new Jamie? How do you feel about the new Jamie Foxx song?
Same. It's familiar.
Okay.
Everybody is like going back to like the original sound, the sounds of the early 2000s. I think the latest album he may have put out was it around like maybe 2010. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever downloaded a Jamie Foxx song.
hmm
I just always thought it was gimmicky because I couldn't get over
His
him
first
on the show.
album is actually pretty decent because he actually is a good singer. And Tank wrote a lot of his songs. But the first album, I don't think I listened to the second one, but the first one is pretty good.
We'll
I
have to
believe.
ask our producer on the next call to pull to see if he has any Grammys. Was he awarded for any of those music
Who, Jamie
situations?
Foxx?
Did he ever get a Grammy on any of those things?
I don't think so. I don't even know if he's been nominated for a Grammy. I would let
Maybe
me
the Ray
see.
Charles soundtrack? Like
Well,
what awards
that
has he?
was he won an Oscar, I think, for that, but I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
if he's won a Grammy. Let me
But no
see.
soundtrack. Did they have a soundtrack for that?
Yeah, every movie has a soundtrack.
Okay. Well, and speaking of the economy, along with that, Jennifer Hudson is not canceled, everybody. She was renewed for a fifth season. So shout out to
Oh yeah, that just
everyone.
came out.
That's right. Everyone working on the J Hud show. Shout out to you. You still have a job. And I was just listening to some opinions, and one thing that they said, they was like, well, it was that tunnel that saved her. I've never watched her show. And I don't think I've really watched, I can only watch like clips that are less than like 2 minutes. So I don't even
Mhm.
think, I know she is not the person that I would go to YouTube and watch like if she was interviewing. And Jennifer gets the people, right? She gets the people, but I've never just sat and watched like a full segment of anything. Whereas I would do that with Sherry Shepherd. Because Sherry's kind of chaotic. She's got good energy, but
Yes,
it's kind of
yeah.
chaotic, funny energy. And so I would sit there
Very
and I would watch
quirky.
it. Yeah, yeah. I would.
Yeah.
I could watch Sherry. But no, no, no.
So this just in, Jamie Foxx did win a Grammy.
Mm,
In 2010, the 52nd annual Grammys, he won for the single "Blame It," which was a duet with T-Pain.
I'm that dude. I'm him. Because I said what? Around 2010? Look at that.
hmm
Wow. See, good things are coming
So
my way.
blame
They've
it on the
already come.
goose.
That's all right, brother. Now you finna go get I can go pick up 100 bands for 2 appearances. I come through and see my new song. Gotcha. Get it, Jamie. And in our last story, I've never heard of you going to this restaurant. I eat it. I actually ate it today. Wendy's is closing hundreds of locations, everybody.
Oh, I
The
actually ate
economy is
Wendy's.
bad. Yeah.
I ate Wendy's yesterday, actually.
See, we are stimulating Wendy's economy, so that's good. But Wendy's is closing hundreds of locations.
And I would say,
And
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. And I just wow. So, here we are. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. I like when we do this, economics or economy segment
Uh-huh.
because
I,
we see it real. We make it real for our listeners. Go ahead.
I'm actually glad that they're closing hundreds of locations because
Say what
Wendy's
now?
is kind of trash. The shit I had last night, the fries were cold. I was like, what is
What
this?
time of night was it?
I don't know, but it wasn't good. We can move on from Wendy's. Really, fast food in general to me it's always not good. It do better.
Mm,
But to your point, we can stimulate their economy or
well, we
their
did.
dividends, but they can go away. I'm not mad at that.
They ass closing.
They can close Arby's with it. Take Arby's with you and take churches because they
Arby's,
cost.
I ain't heard Arby's had no hit. Now I eat them maybe once every, oh gosh, it might be 5 or 6 months.
I haven't been there in a while either, but it's just not good. Like y'all can
Okay.
go. Same with churches. Every churches I have in the last 10 years, every churches I've been to is run down
Damn,
and just horrible. I be like, I'm hungry, but I don't want this. So yeah, they can go too.
damn.
I mean,
Rufus is canceling everybody.
you
And just speaking of that, I ran across this clip, and I know we talked about Bro Rilla, and shout out to Milagro Graham. She made a very good point. I think it was her. No, 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 no. It was actually somebody else. Oh, this other chick on Instagram. She made the point, and I thought it was interesting. She said, no, Glorilla and her sister set this up so that her sister could get a bag. And I'm more inclined to believe
I
that.
believe it. What I said last week. What I said
Yes.
last week.
She said that, and she said the reason that it was done is because something about, and I don't know how this ties back to Megan Thee Stallion, but the comment was made that Megan Thee Stallion was on Glorilla's neck, and I don't see a parallel because they both are dating NBA players right now.
Well,
Um,
I think maybe I don't know who said that, but maybe the parallel or the whatever the word is, lyrically, maybe that's what they mean. Because Megan Thee Stallion has lyrics. Glorilla, not so much. So maybe that's what it was.
okay, well, speaking of that, let's just hear what Bro Willa had to say. Bro Willa was on one of these little shows, little dating shows, with some
Oh
other
God,
lesbians, I guess. And
Poochie Daddy.
Bro Rilla is actually a Donald Trump supporter. And so I just want our listeners to hear the bullshit for themselves. So here she go.
You all agree that Donald Trump is a bad president? He's not a bad president. Do you feel like he's a bad president? I don't like him. Don't. What? I'm a Donald Trump supporter.
The jokes just write themselves, and y'all stop subscribing to Bro Rilla. Nothing about her is entertaining. She is perpetuating ignorance. And I can't laugh at the fool. I know we did find, well, I laughed at her when we played her on, our previous um episode, but Bro Rilla, fuck you, girl. Fuck you.
That's her opinion, and I'll let her live in that stupidity. So go ahead on, Barilla.
Rufus gave you a pass, but fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Nah,
And
fuck you,
speaking of
fuck you.
not amplifying voices, so recently you got to see him. AJ Calloway looks great.
I haven't
He's
seen
got
him in
his
years. He finally cut all them locks and
locks are gone,
braids
which
and
was a
shit off.
wig, right? They said it was a
I
wig.
heard, I heard that.
It was
But
a unit.
I can't see how. Like it. I mean,
It was
is
a
he
unit.
bald now? I haven't seen the man in years.
Nah, he ain't bald.
Oh, okay.
But I'll
You
send
know,
you the video after this.
he had a little scandal some years ago where they were saying he was sexually harassing people or something like that. A
Yeah,
couple years ago.
it's the
Look into
industry.
it.
That's the industry.
Pretty much.
But he spoke on this red carpet. He was passing through, and they asked him about amplifying voices, and he talked about, I think it could have been podcasting and radio, and he said everybody shouldn't have a voice. So let's just hear from brother AJ Calloway himself.
Your current thoughts about where the industry is going and how we are receiving content these days?
I was talking about that earlier today. I think that everyone with a microphone shouldn't be amplified. But, I think the professionals are taking over again, and hopefully more and more of them will step forward. Everything changes, like with the music industry, how streaming is changing. It's the podcasting and the streaming that is changing how everyone takes all their news. And what people need to be very, very cautious about is that not everybody who's speaking knows what they're saying.
And there you go. We will close out at that point, everybody. Not everybody who is speaking knows what they're saying. So that's a great way to wrap up this episode. Rufus, do you have any closing remarks for our
Yeah.
listeners?
I would add to AJ's comments, do your own research and make your own opinions and stop trying to lean on everybody else's opinions.
That's it. You all be great. We'll see you next time. Love you, good people. Bye.
Bye.